to happen. The expectation was not a South African win. The odds were very much on a Pakistan win, because out of nowhere they'd put the cat amongst the pigeons, and it looked dead set that 2 more wickets would fall. It would be another story of heartbreak, and I think there were many who were bracing for how they might handle that.
Spot on, because when you go onto social media after the game, people were recounting how it could have gone. But then you go back to the Jansen and Rabada combo. It was the same combo that took South Africa into the T20 World Cup final. So they're making quite a habit of this. But 4 wickets down to 8 wickets down, and 32 still needed. The drama and tension at Centurion was absolutely unmatched. End of the over, 13 gone, 53 without loss. Obviously, lots of talk about how South Africa advanced to the World Test Championship final. The kind of teams they played, the fact that they didn't play the top teams during the cycle. Shukri Conrad said, "We will not apologize for how we got there, and it's not as easy as you think to win 6 on the trot."
Yeah, I think just given where South Africa is as a test team, I can almost guarantee you I'd paid money for them to play one of those top teams that you mentioned, Kaz. Because I can tell you what, this is a team that have come on leaps and bounds. They've won 6 test matches under bounds. Not the easiest conditions either. They've been to the West Indies, conditions challenging. They've overcome that adversity. They've gone to Bangladesh, where there was a lot of question marks being raised. They've overcome that adversity. Well, beat Sri Lanka at home, and here they find themselves in the World Test Championship. They there. The rest of the teams, they still have a job to do.
The Bangladesh series win was really impressive. First series win in a decade. So you have a look at the schedule. You play the hand you're given, and that's what South Africa did. Go back to New Zealand in February last year. There were no thoughts of South Africa trying to vie for a place in the final. But the way they've gone about their work with a team that has a lot of youngsters, some have made their debut in the last year. So to get to where they have, they should feel really proud of what they've achieved. And Shukri Conrad has stood up proud for his team.
Fighting!
Yeah, I think you have to give a lot of credit to that South African management. He's allowed a young group of players to blossom, to play their way. He made mention in the press conference the other day, KG Rabada, talking about playing with his mates and would give it his absolute all. And for players like Rabada, Stubbs, they're white ball forwards that will be calling their names, but for them to turn their back on that and make themselves available for this test unit is special.
Tristan Stubbs made his debut in that second test against India here at Newlands last year. He made his debut in the Boxing Day test. So many youngsters in this format, with so many injuries to fast bowlers. So getting that bowling unit together to play in different conditions.
Yeah, it really is a monumental feat when you consider the number of players that they've gone through. Some will say, oh yeah, that first series, it's kind of South Africa's doing. But post that, with everyone available, there have been all these injuries. With the lure that Vernon's talking about of the leagues and franchise cricket, and kind of giving your all there in order that you can earn, and that's fair enough. and then ending up with whoever is left. And the list of those who are not available for South Africa, who might otherwise be pushing for a spot in the 11. It's quite an incredible one, really.
Oh! End of the over, 53 without loss.
Oh, I tell you what, that's an absolute chance. It's a definite chance. Karami used the bounce to push Aiden Markham back the previous delivery, but this went like an absolute tracer bullet. It's that back of a length just sitting in the surface, but at this level that needs to be taken. Yeah, right smile from Aiden Markham, because you know he struck it so well. Yeah, a little shake of the head. Fortune for Aiden Markham.
Massive let off, especially a player like Aiden Markham. Incredible second innings 100 against India on a tough surface last season. You give him a let off and he'll make you pay. Wonderfully struck down the ground by Ryan Rickleton.
Yeah, you gotta love watching this man in full flow. He's moved his feet well this morning, and again, just a little simmy down the wicket. But he get himself into such a wonderful position. Beautiful seam up, not looking to overhit it. Presenting the full maker's name. And yeah, opting for the best place in the ground, down the ground, past the bowler. Brings up another boundary for Ryan Rickleton and takes him to 40. Yeah, just a little bit on the surface. Right there this morning. Look placid. Groundsman taking a lot of grass off, and perhaps why you see a couple of this just sitting up in the surface. But at this level, that should be taken.
Abdullah Shafiq on the field for Saim Ayub, who injured his right leg while fielding early in the game. Finds the gap. There's protection on the boundary, but easy too for Ryan Rickleton.
Yeah, I think just back onto the surface, you have to assess conditions quickly as a bowling unit. You have to ask yourself, what's going to make you effective on this particular surface? Now, conventionally, you'd rock up here and you'd perhaps have 2 or 3 slips and a gully. This is not that kind of surface. You perhaps want to catch in cover, catching mid wicket, and trying to get a little fuller. Ask the batsman to drive, because I do feel with the tackiness in the bounce, you might just get the batsman to hit it airborne.
Just thinking back to last year, what was it, 55 all out? South Africa. And the surface then, I remember you saying actually, Vern, that it was it advanced, you said, because it seemed to play quicker. There was a bit of grass on it, and the grass, I think back then what was said was they were trying to make sure that those cracks didn't open up. All it did, I wasn't sure that it went sideways.
Yeah, I think that's on your point. We rocked up here day one, and when the groundsman said there was 10 mils of grass left on it, I could almost guarantee you, good luck batters.
Shortest test match in history against India. I don't think anyone thought coming in on day 2, enjoying a cup of rooibos tea and settling in for the day, that it would go so quickly. I think the catering was arriving for day 3 when the match was ending.
Crazy game.
Quick single. Direct hit would have been interesting. 60 without loss.
Oh, Ryan Rickleton. That's him beautifully. He is on 42 and decides on hitting one out the middle, and he's going to take a dicey single. He's looked pretty good to this point, and this is an opportunity. Yeah, he would have made his ground, but absolutely no need whatsoever to be giving Pakistan a sniff.
No.
He'd kick himself too if he, you know, gave away the start. It's a fantastic start. He's not been extravagant. He's kind of just taken what's been given to him when it's been overpitched. He's moved smartly and really well to caress the ball through cover and also hit down the ground. Just to try and stay in that bubble.
Yeah, itchy's Ryan Rickleton. Especially after the start he's had, you'd almost assume him to be settled and calm at the crease. It almost looks like he just wants to keep racing, want to keep up with this tempo that he's batting at the moment. Absolutely no need to get jittery, young man.
Racing it to all parts, 7 fours. What an opportunity.
Made in a miss, they're confident, and it's given. It took a while, did Kumar Damasina, and the finger finally goes up.
Yeah, Aidan Markram, he's hawk straight away. Kurum again, he's troubled Markram before. Just got the ball a touch fuller on this occasion. Inviting the drive for Markram. It's that wobble seam, just left him late. And under edge through to the wicket keeper. And he makes no mistake behind the stumps.
100th dismissal in Test match cricket for Mohammad Rizwan. Tiny little inside edge. Aidan Markram is to go for 17, South Africa 61 for 1. Seventh Pakistan keeper into 100 test dismissals. Congratulations to Mohammad Rizwan. They've got the breakthrough they needed, so desperately needed. Here's Vian Mulder. Says he hates watching cricket, sitting out on the sidelines for a couple of weeks, but here he is walking in at number 3. And it's the second test match here at Newlands. Tony Dizorzi, of course, missing out for this test match. Rickleton opening, so Vian Mulder slotting in at 3. Best of unbeaten 105. Great opportunity for Vian Mulder. Yet another all-rounder in this South African team, loaded with all-rounders.
Yeah, a bit of an experiment for South Africa. Vian Mulder at number 3. Kotsuke Conrad really backing him from a technical point of view, saying that he's got everything covered from a technique basis to be a number 3 batter.
No run.
Yeah, what they haven't been afraid to do, the South Africans, is to try things. Yeah, but sometimes as you watch the game, things happen and you wonder, if batters go back and think, if I had, only if. This is a couple of balls before Markham gets out, and it's as if he has hands in his pants, Ryan Rickleton, because he wanted to go back for a second and he was saying, hey, I'm coming back, and he didn't. The misfield happens and Markham just says, no, stay there, and next ball he nicks off. Yeah, and that just seemed an uncontrolled shot, unlike what is played before. Really trying to absolutely smash that one. Little bit of movement, trying to drive on the up, and couldn't adjust to the ball, then sort of slightly coming back in at him. Yeah, there you go, just off the seam.
And I think it's such a dangerous shot to be playing, especially at these coastal venues. You'd expect Aidan Markham to be a senior player, understanding conditions, understanding the danger periods. Try and get through those danger periods to negate early loss of wickets, but not to be
end of the over. A successful one for Pakistan, 62 for 1.
Yeah, just playing away from his body. Bowler was convinced straight away, and so was Aidan Markham. He hawked straight away, didn't give him out. Karam impressive again. Surprised that he hasn't taken the new ball here for Pakistan.
Well, there were 3 changes to the South African team. Dazorzi, Bosch and Patterson missing out. Mulder, Maharaja, Mapaka in. Crucial period this for South Africa. A good start, a good half-century opening stand, but the wicket of Markram's opened the door for Pakistan. Skrum Shazad with the wicket. Talking so much about that World Test Championship final. After this test, South Africa have a tri-series and then the Champions Trophy. How do they go about preparing for that World Test Championship final, Vern?
Yeah, I think they've actually arranged a couple of test matches against Pakistan, against Zimbabwe in the month of March, April. So that will give them some sort of preparation leading into that World Test Championship. Yeah, but I do feel they might want to perhaps arrange a couple of games in the UK leading up to that match, just to give the guys a bit of game time. That's an excellent delivery, just going across the right hand at Vian Mulder. Because having played a lot of cricket in the UK, a big change will be that Duke ball. Getting used to it, conditions, overhead conditions, will mean that you will be challenged as a batter, so you want to make sure that you have all bases covered heading into that final.
Last time South Africa played a test match at Lord's, it was a handsome victory, innings victory. Innings and 12 runs. Kagiso Rabada was player of the match. So yeah, some opportunities to play matches in those conditions will certainly be useful. So lots for the think tank to consider and ponder on as they prepare for that final in June next year.
Yeah, I think South African teams, they've got good memories of Lords.
Why are you laughing, Vern?
Don't be that guy, Pom.
Oh, Vernon. Vernon Daryl Philander. What was it? 6 for in the end? I remember it was certainly a 5-fer and a 60 or something like that. Yeah. South Africa 55 for 5. Duminy with you. Am I right?
Yeah, myself and JP Duminy got 100 partnership in the first innings and 80 odd in the second. Yeah, but like I say, wonderful memories for South African cricket, lifting the maize to go #1 in the world. And hopefully this bunch can do the exact same.
You're very happy I asked then, are you?
Six consecutive wins for this unit. One more. And it will be the best run in over 20 years. Currently equal to that wonderful group in 2012, 2013. Longest successful run is, of course, 9 test wins back in the 2002-2003 season. Team going well.
Yeah, I think what has really impressed me has been the ability to win away from home, because those are always big question marks and challenges. And for a young unit to have gone and do that on the road, impressive.
Vernon Philander at Lords. 2 matches, average 55 with the bat, 10 wickets at 15.4 with the ball, 62 for 1.
There's the results that boys have been reflecting on away from home. Of course, New Zealand, that was what they say 20 was happening against the West Indies. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka here in South Africa. Edge. Now, that's a regulation edge. I can't believe, I think, Rickleton, that he's actually done that. Provided that edge, that healthy edge.
That's the second one today, Hayes. He found an edge earlier on as well. It also fell short of second slip. We saw Aidan Markham found an edge that dropped short. And there's no doubt that this pitch will get a little bit quicker as the game goes on. But for now, you're asking that slip cordon to try and stand as close as they possibly can. And bowling-wise, you really do have to give a bit of excess effort into your deliveries to make sure that they do carry. It's not like Supersport Park where the ball will kind of do the carrying for you because of the nature of the pitch. This one you're going to have to really bend that back.
Yeah, just have to give yourself every opportunity to take those catches. Every chance to support the bowlers. You get a couple of wickets early in this test match, you can change things quite dramatically.
I think the keeper dictates the slip cordon where the slippers should be standing. So Kamran Ghulam just a little too deep for this kind of a pitch where the ball is not really zipping across.
इस चैनल ने सिर्फ एक वीडियो से 1 लाख सब्सक्राइबर्स कंप्लीट कर लिए, वो भी एक ऐसे निश में जहां दुर्रा टीम, नीतीश राजपूत और सोच जैसे बड़े क्रिएटर्स ऑलरेडी मार्केट में खा चुके हैं. दूर से
Very nicely fielded. Abdullah Shafiq in the covers.
Need a bit of lift. He's timed the ball beautifully, sweetly. Not a big booming driver like Makram, but he goes at half length and then allows his hands to do the job, and then he's wristy also. That's why a lot of runs have come behind point.
He's got his 54 off 57, 7 fours in that 44. Likes getting bat on ball. That's one of his traits. That served him very well. he bats for a while, he always gets runs. And Rickleton's the sort of player who I guess will provide an opportunity at some stage, but once he's in really good nick, and the way that he's really flowing in his innings today, apart from a couple of edges that haven't actually carried, it's been a little bit disappointing from that perspective. But he's been good.
His strike rate is pretty impressive for a guy who struggled in the last Test match to shrug it off and start anew, and it hasn't been a bad outing so far. 58 balls for 44.
Yeah, good conversion rate, 50s to 100s as well. You think of who will be happy that he's got himself in and playing well. He's number 44 on his back. He's got himself to 44 now. But MR Cape Town might be quite happy too that he's spending a bit of time in the middle here. This is obviously their home ground, and they'll be dead keen for him to hit that SA20 in good form and striking the ball nicely.
6 days, Sean. Kicks off in 6 days' time. SA20. That's when it starts. Kabaka, the first game. Sunrise Eastern Cape against MI Cape Town, actually. Very first match. That's going to be a beauty. Solidly behind that one. End of the over. 62 for 1.
Yeah, he'd be a little bit disappointed, Rickleton, not after getting that 100 in Port Elizabeth. He's only averaging just under 30 with the bat and hasn't got past 50 again. So this is the moment he's got himself in. He's almost had a reprieve and an opportunity at the top of the order. There are the fixtures for MR Cape Town. Those are obviously the home fixtures that are happening at Newlands.
Awesome.
25 minutes to go now before lunch. And he's plugged back in. Mohamed Abbas, 6 overs to the top, none for 20. 25 minutes to go now before lunch. And he's plugged back in. Mohamed Abbas do with picking up a wicket in this little period now. None for 20. Rickleton 44 at the moment. He's played nicely. Morder's just arrived. Elevated a long way of that batting order. Normally comes in at about the number 7 mark. He batted with that broken finger just through circumstance actually in his last outing for South Africa. Elevated a long way of that batting order. Normally comes in at about the number 7 mark. He batted with that broken finger just through circumstance. 2 slips and a fine gully for South Africa. Elevated a long way of that batting order. Normally comes in at about the number 7 mark. He batted with that broken finger just through circumstance. 2 slips and a fine gully for South Africa. Nicely bowled. He's going to just nibble this around a little bit from a very tidy length. Mohamed Abbas, that's it all work at via Mulder. Nicely bowled. He's going to just nibble this around a little bit from a very tidy length. Mohamed Abbas, that's it all work at via Mulder.
As he talked about him being plugged in again, he's the trusted Bluetooth for Pakistan. 6 for 54 and 1 for 79 at Centurion, making a comeback and a grand comeback.
Machine Abbas continues
for Pakistan. 6 for 54 and 1 for 79 at Centurion, making a comeback and a grand comeback.
Machine Abbas continues
for Pakistan. It's quite amazing. There's this air of predictability regarding his bowling, because he's going to target that length ball after ball, yet you're not really ready as a batsman. It's quite amazing. Ready to take him on, because there's something about him that makes him such a potent force. Wobble the ball around, he'll test your skills, your technique, your temperament. Something about him. A rarity in this day and age. Such a potent force.
Well, he's going to offer nothing really to hit. That's the issue. And of course, this track is a little bit slower, of course, than we had at Supersport Park. And he won't quite get that nibble he was getting at that venue. So it's going to be a bit of a hard 12 for him, but he's always there and thereabouts. Of course, this track is a little bit
talking to someone who used to do it for his whole career, I kind of understand it now. I think it's even more appropriate in the modern era, because batters do not want to leave balls alone. They all want to see the scoring rate going through the roof. I think of someone like a Scotty Boland as well. He's been introduced, and all he does is a very simple game game plan. Just keep hitting that area, getting it through to the keeper. He doesn't go for many runs, and then invariably, with, as you say, some of the ill discipline of batting lineups in the modern era. But you don't want to be over pitching, because that is a gentle half volley, 124 kilometers per hour, over pitched onto the leg stump, and Mulder plays it beautifully. But you don't want to be over pitching.
It always is special when somebody is playing an on drive like that in the slot, and he did not hesitate. What a lovely timing on that one. Special when somebody is playing an on drive, opened himself just ever so slightly to get that bat through.
They had him 11 balls for just 1 run, so they'll be annoyed. Pakistan's a very fine shot, just slightly overpitched, and he's good enough to just pounce on it. The idea, of course, when a new batsman comes, who's a conservative playing batsman, I guess, in particular, he's got to try and keep him as quiet as he possibly can. He's got to do something outside his comfort zone. The idea, of course, when a batsman too straight again, that one. Playing batsman, I guess, in particular, he's got to try and keep him as quiet as he possibly can.
That was a little bit of a dodgy bounce. Sometimes you get it on off the other pitches, the way the grass has been cut, but that one definitely bounced a little bit. The man at short mid wicket. You get it on off the other pitches, the way the grass has been cut, but that one definitely bounced a little bit. Ahmed Jamal at short mid wicket with that issue. Off the other pitches, the way the grass has been cut, but
allows that to go harmlessly through. End of that over, 66 for 1. Allows that to go harmlessly through. End of that over, 66 for 1. Allows that to go harmlessly through. End of that over, 66 for 1. This over rate has been a little bit slow from Pakistan today. They're going to need to step on it a little bit. Seam is in operation. Yes, we had an injury, which is going to be taken into consideration by match referee Sir Richie Richardson. So look at the South African Test squad. Corbin Bosch, an injury, which is going to be taken. So Dane Patterson left out in this game. Zorzi's picked up a thigh injury. It's been properly discussed with those two players, Corbin Bosch and Dane Patterson. Neither of them could have done any more in my book. Corbin Bosch outstanding on debut, and Patterson's been brilliant with all those wickets, 13 wickets in 2 games and 2 fifers. Dane Patterson, neither of them could have done any more. Jamal now into the attack.
You hit the nail on the head, Hazy. If you want to gain trust in that dugout, you've got to be brutally honest and explains to these young cricketers. Hit the nail on the head, Hazy. Impressionable minds, learning the art to A, survive, and B, to do well to survive. And I think you're absolutely right. They did nothing wrong to have been sidelined, but increasing the pool, I don't know what's the logic behind the ouster. I think 2 match winners being sidelined feels a little strange.
What concerns me about it is when you get guys who grab opportunities, and they were both brought in. Obviously, Corbin Bosch in 1 game, and Dane Patterson was brought in to do a particular job. They grabbed opportunities with both hands. I mean, what more are they expected to do to stay in that lineup? Yes, I know that Veer Mulder was the first cab off the rank. He got injured, broke his finger. This is what happened, but there's no surgery involved, and it's just a matter of resting it to make sure it's okay. And he's okay now. He did bat number 3 in that second dig I mentioned earlier. I personally believe he's number 7 in Test cricket. And the fact that he's developed his game to be like that sort of player and be more aggressive in the number 7 role has been very advantageous for him, and also for South Africa. When he's required, he bowls little seamers. Bosch is someone who bowled quickly, batted brilliantly, 4 for 63, 81 not out. Completely different player, and someone who, let's face it, why did South Africa win that last game? Because some batsmen at the lower end got big runs. Yes, Janssen and Rabada were absolutely brilliant with that partnership. Pakistan needed 2 wickets when they came together, and they still needed 49 runs. They were brilliant, but guys like Corbin Bosch getting runs in the first inning was just sensational. That's where they outbatted Pakistan. They were brilliant with the all-rounders in that lineup. Sean, what do you reckon? Sensational.
Yeah, Hazy, I kind of get it though, to be honest. I mean, if you look at what Veer Milder did, he did well in Bangladesh. He got a big score, he got some wickets, he got, I think, 4 wickets in their first 10 innings, opening the bowling. And he was the man in possession. I think Corbin Bosch was probably explained that he would be coming into play in that test match. They felt like Milder wasn't ready to go, was a bit underdone, and that needed some more time. What you would say is he's almost the man in possession. I can kind of get their thinking is they want him to be back in. The other ones are easy decisions to explain. Dazorzi was injured and they've decided to bring in Keshav Maharaj. I think the guy who's probably the most disappointed would have to be Patterson. There's no doubt that Bosch had a good test, and we'll go with that and appreciate the performance, the 4 wickets and the runs that he got. But Patterson's done nothing wrong in 2 tests. He's got 2 back-to-back 5-wickers. I suppose if they've explained to him that they want Maharaj to play because they feel the spinner's going to play more of a role, Patterson's done nothing wrong in 2 tests. He's the unlucky one to miss out, if I'm honest. I suppose if they've explained to him that they want Maharaj to play because they feel the spinner's going to play more of a role.
I'm sure that wasn't in his wildest dream that he wouldn't play at home ground.
If I'm honest.
Oh, that's sloppy. Goodness me, that's sloppy. Sure, that wasn't in his wildest dream that he would just before lunch on day 1. 20 overs done, 67 for 1. Oh, that's sloppy. Goodness me, that's sloppy. Sure, that wasn't in his wildest dream that he would just before lunch on day 1. 20 overs done, 67 for 1. Goodness me, that's sloppy. Just before lunch on day 1. 20 overs done, 67 for 1. Ada Markram was the mainstay at Supersport Park, player of the match. Played beautifully in that first innings, that 89. Rickerton's going along 45 now and doing a fine job. Mulder's just finding his way at this number 3, this all-important number 3 spot. Stubbs missed out in both knocks where they tended to bowl straight to him and got him out LBW both occasions. One kept a fraction low. Bedingham didn't look particularly comfortable. Verena also missed out. So there's some work to be done by South Africa. They can't afford to let this start, which is healthy, on a good batting surface. And the fact that they won the toss, select the bat first, is a big advantage to them. They've got to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, I think the one they have to worry about is Bavuma. He's in good touch. He looks like his feet are moving nicely. Ever since he's been back, I think he's the one. You get the feeling on this kind of surface it's really going to be difficult to knock him over. His defensive technique has been really good.
I just hope one thing about Temba Bavuma. I'd love to see him get a pair of batting pants together with no pockets. 3 times the ball hit the pocket and they shouted behind, and the last one he was given out and he thought he hit it and he didn't.
Yeah, I think he needs to get some tape just to tape that pocket down closer.
A lot of the teams actually have that these days, but they don't have any. It's more like tracksuit pants they're batting.